Hey, truth seekers, welcome back. Zach here. It's Sunday, February 26th, 2017. Earlier today, CNN's front page was the premature death of Bill Paxton. Did a video on that, showed how his death was by the numbers, like that 1983 song, Murder by Numbers. Watch the video I put out earlier today on his death. I said we'll probably read about another celebrity death before the day's over. And here is one. This time, it's another TV star who has died at a much later age. Joseph Wapner, the first judge on the People's Court, the hit TV show, dead at age 97. And anyone who sees this death will think, well, 97, that's a very long life. That is a fact, but I have no doubt that this man's death today is a murder. He might have already been dying. He might have been passing away on his deathbed. Somebody finished him off today for a very specific reason, and it has everything to do with the year he finished as the head of the People's Court, 1993. In 1993, on this day, February 26th, there was the 93 World Trade Center bombing. Let me show you why we're reading about this man dead today. I guarantee you that when they install the next Supreme Court justice, it's going to be synced up with this death and today's date. We'll come back to that, but I already can guarantee that this death has everything to do with the ninth Supreme Court justice to be appointed to the bench. So he's dead at 97, right? I've been talking about the significance of 97, how there's been all these headlines with 97 coded to Trump, which were tributes to the 97th NFL season that the Patriots just won. Notice the word supreme equals 97. We're talking about the Supreme Court justices, a dead judge at the age of 97, one of the most recognized judges in the nation, Joseph Wapner. The name Joseph Wapner in gematria is a reflection of Supreme Court, both having gematria of 174 the big way and 57 the small way. If you go back and watch my video on the death of Antonin Scalia, his closed casket funeral had a lot to do with 57. So Joseph Wapner, a name that matches Supreme Court, dead at 97, Supreme 97. 97 is the 25th prime number, and it's Trump who's going to get to appoint the ninth Supreme Court justice, all part of the ongoing puppet show. Understand, the Hollywood actors, the judges on these reality court TV shows, they're not much different than your presidents, your politicians. They're all in the gang of Freemason and Zionist Actors Club. That film Team America World Police, you remember who runs the world? FAG, FAG, the Film Actors Guild. That movie was telling you the truth. It's the same group of people running the show. They run Hollywood, they run your government, they run media. It's the Zionist Jews who really do like fucking people in their assholes, literally. FAG, Film Actors Guild. They're trying to tell you the truth through comedy. Anyway, Donald Trump, the latest Hollywood actor in the White House, not the first. 97, the 25th prime. Trump, 25. Show you a few other things interesting about this man's name before we talk about why he died today. Wapner, 77. Power, 77. Judaism, 77. Washington, D.C. on the 77th meridian where the Supreme Court is. Remember on September 11th, Flight 77 hit the 77-foot tall Pentagon on the 77th meridian, exactly 77 minutes after taking off? And just in case you've never seen one of my videos before and you think this is all fun and games, September 11th in English reduction, one of the most important formats you could learn about, 77. Just like World Trade Center, whole lot of 77 on 9/11. Flight 77 crashed 77 minutes after taking off into the 77-foot tall Pentagon on the 77th meridian. Got to say it again just to make sure you know it. The word Judaism, 77. The word Jew is 38. It's a nation run by Jewish bankers, always has been. by the numbers. Joseph Wapner made a celebrity by this same gang. Joseph Wapner's birthday is November 15th, the most tragic day in my own life, the day my house was ripped off by this gang for exposing them. November 15th, 1919, born in Los Angeles, dead today, February 26th, 2017. I notice his date of birth and his date of death have 45 numerology, Trump the 45th president. Today's date also has a life lesson number of 38, the word death 38, killing 38, murder 38, RIP 38, Jew 38, Freemasons, Zionists, killing by the numbers throughout history. He died 103 days after his birthday. That's the 27th prime number. Think about 27 in death. It's also a span of 104 days. 104, the date this nation was established, July 4th, 1776, date with 104 numerology. The word Jerusalem equals 104, with a USA right in the middle. Again, nation founded by Jewish banker tyrants. So this man, he was judge on the show from 81 to 93. 93, number for Saturn. Saturn has to do with time, judgment. First judge on the show. Finished up in 93, 12 years later. 12 represents completion. If you write out 226, it sums to 93. Today's February 26, 2/26. It looks a lot like 226, date of the 93 World Trade Center bombing. Saturn equals 93. In Jewish gematria, if you write the word planet, it sums to 226. And using the alphabetic order, Saturn sums to 93. Bob Marley sums to 93. He died on May 11th by the numbers. It's another story. Anyway, 93, 226, numbers that come together all the time. Here's this judge who was judge until 93, dead on 226. Just for the record, the word judge has gematria 47, like time, like obey, like gavel, like authority. Saturn, connected to time and judgment. He died of natural causes. So we don't know much about his death or what was going on. What I can tell you is he died on this date for a reason. And the news comes from his son. You know, that's what's problem about that's the problem with this sick world we live in. The Zionist Jews have created our understanding of the world. And for most people, their understanding is me, as much money as I can get, fuck everybody else. The Jewish way. The Jewish Zionists have created this world, built this world, given us our government, our entertainment, the things that have programmed the people to be the robots they are. And what I just said about the people is true of almost everyone. There's so many people in this world who would kill their own family member for their own benefit. And I think that happens again and again in these Hollywood families, you know. I'm sure there's a lot of sociopaths in Hollywood, a lot of sociopathic families. There's a lot of sociopathic families in America. I mean, honestly, if you look at what the definition of sociopath is, it's hard to find anyone who's not a sociopath. It's a nation of psychos. People who don't care about truth, only care about themselves, you know? So for anyone to think like, well, you think his own son would kill him? Yeah, pull your head out of your ass. Go outside, meet some people, you know? I can tell you my own story. November 15th, got my whole house and livelihood screwed up because I helped out my neighbor. Then seems that he went to the police, and him and the police robbed all the treasure in my home, you know? And then a whole lot more. One last point from the death of Antonin Scalia, who died on the 44th day of the year. Kill 44, execution 44. Lupercalia equals 44. February 13th, the 44th day of the year, the first day of Lupercalia. Antonin Scalia dead on a ranch, Ranch 44. His death was synced up for that date, foretold years in advance through the TV show Family Guy and other things. Even through the story of Dick Cheney shooting his buddy on the ranch in Texas while they were quail hunting. Same thing Scalia was doing down in Texas when he died. Anyway, from Scalia's death to today's death, Scalia was the 9th member of the Supreme Court who passed, is 379 days, which is the 75th prime number. That number reminds me of the New World Order, which is the Masonic Jewish world order that established this nation. Notice New World Order 75 and 174. We were talking about how this judge has the 174 name, just like Supreme Court. This is all part of the ongoing riddle. This is what murder by numbers is. Happens to young people, happens to old people. It happens to people who've been associated with the gang. Celebrities, the people who've signed on the dotted lines to receive fame and fortune from the Zionist Jews who run this world, only because the people haven't taken it back from them. So we'll see what happens with the Supreme Court. Just thinking, we'll see. Maybe they'll give us our Supreme Court justice on April 14th, 2017. That date will be written 14/4, kind of like 144. The word time has a lot of connections to 144. That would be 47 days from today. I know that whenever they put in this Supreme Court justice, it's going to be synced up with today's date, so I'll pay attention to how they do it. That's an early thought. Maybe April 14th, we'll have the whole Supreme Court thing wrapped up. Something that should have been wrapped up a long time ago. It's been more than a year that a third of the U.S. federal government hasn't been able to work properly. I mean, just think about that. And for what? Because the Republicans cried that they should get to appoint the next judge? I mean, it's just all bullshit. That's what I hate about this nation. Fake political parties. You have this. Look at what the Republicans are. The Republicans remind me of like a 2-year-old toddler that's just learning to talk, that's already a bully. Sometimes for anyone who's worked with kids, you can see some kids at a younger age, it's like, oh, this one's going to be a handful. Republicans just always crying and bitching and bullying and needing things their way. And they always get their way. And then the Democrats, what are they? They're just like the spineless cowards who try to pretend like they're something different than copy the Republicans and everything they do. I don't know how anyone supports either of these parties. They're so pathetic. They're so fake. You guys want to see something fun in gematria real quick? I love this reflection or reverse method we learned about. Always knowing that Republicans 47, check out Democrat in reverse. Reflections of each other. How perfect. But anyway, this is how the puppet show on goes. It now involves the death of the former TV justice. We'll see who they give us for the next Supreme Court justice. Just understand the Supreme Court, they're just a bunch of actors too. They're no different than this guy that was on the TV. Zero difference. The Supreme Court, what they do is they look at things that never even happened. Almost all the major legislation that you're aware of, Roe versus Wade, your Miranda rights, all of these things never even happened. These people don't exist. These stories never happened. They're just all made up stories by the numbers so that they can pass real laws that make all of us that much more slaves. That's what really goes on in this nation. Fake news by the numbers, ritual killing by the numbers, puppet show by the numbers. It's how the Jewish people rule the world. Until next time.